Okay, we're going to stay on schedule here and get started. Again, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jeff Clark at thegoldadvisor.com. This is one of our more popular speakers, I think I would say, right, for here at the Rural Symposium. And by the way, welcome to everyone watching online. So we're glad you're here. This is one of the premier silver and gold exploration companies in the BC Triangle. That's me saying that. $28.7 million raise they just completed. How many junior companies do you know that can raise that much money? 10% of which came from Eric Sprott, by the way. 4 drill rigs turning right now for a whopping 35,000 meter drill program that's already underway right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, can I introduce the Dolly Varden CEO, Sean Kunkun.
Okay, thank you so much. Just a show of hands, how many of you own physical silver? Dolly Varden silver. Okay. All right, awesome. Thank you all for coming. Jeff, how long do I have?
You have 19 and a half minutes.
Okay, I better go quick. I recognize a lot of you, and I just want to say thank you. In addition to our institutional shareholders, thank you. I am working for you guys. I think about you when I make decisions, and I'm grateful that you're here, and I really appreciate your support. So it's a really simple story, and I'll be at the booth right afterwards, and we can get into more details. We've got people from the company here that are happy to hear from you, but it's a simple story. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what kind of challenges we're going to face, but we're adults. We're going to make good decisions, and the key is ROI for you, period, okay? And I'm going to take risks, okay? You're not here to make 10%, 20%. I'm going to swing. I'm going to swing big. Now's the time. We were through the Depression. When I was here in Boca in 2022, I was playing defense, and now we're playing offense. And so my story is a story that goes back to India, where my family's from, and the story is farming and the story is gold, okay? And that's what I know. And when I came, I was born in Canada, and in my backyard, it's one of the richest silver and gold prolific mining belts on the planet. And I was lucky. I fell into this industry at 22, and I listened to people like Rick Rule and Jay Taylor, and I got indoctrinated with what silver and gold was, and it made a lot of sense to me. It resonated because of where my family's from. And I went through a big cycle, and I learned about this industry, and I'm applying all of that knowledge to Dolly Varden. So I will be making some forward-looking statements. So starting here, you guys know this, but for anybody new, richest 20 kilometers between Seabridge and Newmont on the planet. So this is the richest 20 kilometers on the planet for silver and gold. The area has been known about since 1890. And in the first 100 years, they found 5 million ounces of gold. 5 million ounces of gold in a century. And then they brought in power. They brought in roads. The glaciers started receding. In the last 3 decades, 150 million ounces of gold have been discovered. Oh, and 1.2 billion ounces of silver. So I think the best is yet to come. And where I've positioned myself is in the southern part of the Golden Triangle that's unexplored. It's really simple. Newmont's, I can't compete with Newmont. Just Brucejack alone's producing 300,000 ounces a year, 300,000 ounces a year of gold. My strategy here when I started, and it's changed, it's evolved. 5 years ago, I took over the business, and we were a $20 million company. I stand in front of you today, we're a $400 million company today. I've raised $150 million, and it's a very simple story. There's 2 pillars of growth, discovery and acquisitions, okay? And that's what we've done. And it's been difficult because we've been in a depression, okay? We've been in a time where investors haven't been here, yet we've managed to play from a position of strength, not spend more than we had, raise at the right times, and find the right shareholders. So it's I think it could be very simple, but it all comes back to people, and we've got a great team. The board of directors is at the bottom. You've got advisors in the middle, management at the top. And look, it's a great team. It's a team built for this project, this area, but it's accountants, it's lawyers, it's bankers, it's geologists, it's engineers. So these are the shareholders. So you've got 13.7% with Hecla, 13.5% with Fury, 9.5% with Eric Sprott, half of the company is owned by institutions, 13% with retail, 87 million shares out, 90 million on a fully diluted basis. We've got $52 million in the bank. If you want to see the research coverage, let me know. We trade in Canada, we trade on the NYSE American, and we trade in Germany. So I'm not going to give you the why silver. If you want to know my thoughts on silver, let's talk about them back at the booth. But let's go back to what's this vision, what's the strategy, what's the business model, and I'll tell you what it was. So when I came into the company 5 years ago, it was a $20 million company. The idea of raising the appropriate capital to try to get into production, really we were an orphan and we were hoping for a takeover. That was the strategy. If I can go from 20 million and if I could deliver you a $200 million takeover, I call that success. So here we are at 2 times that valuation. And now we're daring to really go. Okay, now we're daring. There's 10 primary silver producers, and there's 3 companies, in my opinion, that matter outside of the producers. And we're one of them. And the difference between us and the competition, we're in Canada. And so I now have the audacity to try to make this the next Pan American, First Majestic, Hecla. I think we can do it. I think we have the team. We've got the project. And what's really interesting is in this area, there is an underutilized mill. Okay, it's a 3,000 ton per day mill, and it's on care and maintenance. And in the month of May, after listing our shares on the NYSE, after seeing a 40% appreciation in the share price, I went out and I made 3 acquisitions in the month of May. And those acquisitions brought in 3 past producing mines, and they took us from 15,000 hectares to 100,000 hectares. Now, why did I do this? I did this because of that mill that's on care and maintenance. My thinking is these deposits, once we continue to expand them, once we continue to de-risk them, they could potentially be direct shipped to that underutilized mill facility, whether we're the future owners of it or not. That's the vision, that's the play. It's more than the 64 million ounces of silver that we have in the ground and the million ounces of gold, and we're going to be updating those numbers after this year's drill program, and we're going to be putting out some economics around it. But the real play here is what other advanced explorer that do you know of that can fast track themselves into a DSO situation? So happy to explain that in more detail. But in the meantime, what we're focused on is exploration right now. So we're going to leverage that $52 million treasury, and we're devoting $20 million to an exploration spend. And so we're in the midst of it right now. And I'll tell you, in a market where there's only a handful of silver companies, there's only a handful of silver companies that are showing growth, and we're one of them. So there's very few names that are going to be putting out silver results, but because I had my 4 rigs turning 24 hours a day on May 15th, we're due for results. And the results in the last 3 years have been spectacular. We're hitting high-grade silver, pure silver. This is not silver equivalent. This starts at surface. It's exceptionally high grade. It's potentially amenable to bulk mining, and we're focused on an area on the property we call the Wolf Deposit. And the Wolf Deposit is about a kilometer away from Canada's 3rd largest silver producer, the Torbrit mine. And we own the Torbrit deposit. So we think these two systems may be related. So we're incrementally drilling in between the gap. We've got results pending. This is one of the most exciting developments on the property. But we're in an environment right now where the silver to gold ratio is 90-1. And even though we have 64 times more silver than we do gold, the economics on the project today are in the silver gold rich north. We've got $300 a ton rock in the south. We've got $800 a ton rock in the north. So looking at some of these gold results, 93 meters of 2-gram gold and 200 grams silver. 100 meters of 4.5 grams of gold. So we've got an exceptional gold deposit here up at Homestake. And so the plan this year is to drill at Wolf, to put out a new resource that we think a lot of those ounces will be gained at the Wolf vein, to continue drilling out this high-grade silver gold zone. And then, look, when I first came into the company, I inherited 40 million ounces of silver. We were trading at 40 cents an ounce in the ground. And I asked the team, what do we need to make this economic? And they said, Sean, you need to do one of two things. You either need to double the resource, or we need the price of silver to double. Now the price of silver has doubled. But what I'm telling you here is I think that Wolf represents the growth this company needed. But by bringing in the Homestake deposit, we have enough metal in the ground where I think we can make a real go of an economic project. And then with the additional acquisitions we made in the month of May, I think we're very well positioned. Again, we've got all the infrastructure in the area. I'm not going to bore you with all the drill results, but the reality is, I believe in the stock market, it's all about growth, right? It's all about growth. Whether you're a producer, you're an Explorco, I can deliver high-grade, pure silver growth in a safe jurisdiction. And we've demonstrated through attracting Eric Sprott, through attracting Hecla, Fidelity, and I can go on, and raising $150 million for an exploration company accretively, not doing a down round, being very sensitive to dilution, and getting this company on a proper exchange, getting it into indexes, getting it into ETFs. We are now positioned, in my opinion, as a top 13 silver equity, okay? And as we see more M&A in the silver space, we've seen 3 big deals already, we'll start to see that M&A go from producers cannibalizing each other to getting the development pipeline. That's the next phase. So I think I've got 18 months before someone's coming knocking, and it's my goal to get as much silver in inventory and do as many moves as we can while we still are independent, and that could include getting our ore into a DSO opportunity with the underutilized mill in the area. But in the meantime, we're drilling, we're funded, and I'll open it up to any questions. Yes?
I didn't quite understand the mill and where it is and the status.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so where is the mill? The best way to show you where the mill is you could see Ascot Premier just above the Dolly Varden. Do you see just above the Dolly Varden? That's the mill. I do have a pointer, okay. So right there, that's the mill. No, what I'm saying is it's on care and maintenance. It's underutilized. Historically, just to give you a little history here, that mine was the most profitable gold mine in North America when it was operating. Most profitable. Now, it was a 400-ton per day operation. Most profitable gold mine in North America. They built a 3,000-ton per day mill. I think they're going to need other feed to fill it. That's where Dolly Varden comes in. And whether, we buy it, whether we come up with some type of toll arrangement, It doesn't matter to me. To me, the fact is you've got a permitted facility with clean hydroelectric power, with roads, with permits, and the town is screaming for this thing to turn back on. Correct. Stewart. So look, if there's one thing to take away from this, this is really scarce. It's scarcity. It's rare. Finding high-grade silver is rare. You can go to Mexico. You can go to Peru. We've got something that's different. Okay, number one, it's pure silver. This is not lead, zinc, and a silver byproduct. This is high-grade silver. It's in Canada. There's a lot of gold in the system, and we've demonstrated that we have an ability to drive value to shareholders. You know what the thing I'm most proud about is every conference I go to, the share price is higher, there's more money in the bank, and the market cap is larger, and we've got more ounces in inventory. Every conference I go to, and that hasn't been easy in a volatile market that is, we've seen silver range from $11.94 to $37 and up and down and always in between. And we have somehow managed to get paid for our discoveries, to take advantage of the discrepancy between the commodity price and the equities by being predator and going out and buying out juniors and their projects. And now we're leveraging that into what I see an opportunity, a pretty interesting opportunity in an area that I think it's in its infancy. Like if you really think about that, Bob Quartermain, who's here, he brought power to Bruce Jack. Okay, that was 2017. We're just scratching the surface. Like the geology here is the best in the world. It took 7 million years to form. Okay? The drill results, you put them up with any drill results out there. And it's why Bruce Jack's costs are so low. And so you've got the world's second largest mining company by market cap who set up a flag here, who's planning for the next century, as is the local communities. And we're too busy thinking on 4-year political, cycles. Let's think here. Okay, let's think about how we play this. And what I've done, I've taken a slow approach. It's taken 5.5 years, but I'm telling you, now that we've got the liquidity, the market cap, and all these companies that were higher and have sunk a lot of capital, we could take advantage of that. It's a direct shipping. What's DSO? Direct shipping. So it's taking our material and moving it to a production facility. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm wondering, I didn't fully catch it. So you're going to joint venture with somebody, sell it off, or how are you going in? How far are you de-risked before you do that?
That's a great question. When I first came into Dolly, we had 40 million ounces in the ground, and people would say, Sean, you should just start mining it. Start mining it, be producing 4 million ounces for the next decade. That would give you a significant market cap. And so for me, I think there's so many ways to drive value for the shareholder, right? And ultimately, if we had a bid tomorrow at the right premium with the right company, we would consider it, right? And so I'm not interested in a joint venture. I'm interested in, I believe silver and gold are going a lot higher, okay? And so if Dolly Varden got taken over tomorrow, I wouldn't want cash, okay? I would want shares in a company that I could ride as this market continues. And so not interested in joint venture. Would be interested in a partnership, in a merger, in some type of a business combination that would give my shareholders exposure to a quality precious metals company.
So, but I'm assuming as you get
Yeah, and the example of that, real quickly here, is Skeena Resources, right? Skeena is not in production, but has created, it's gone from a $35 million valuation to a $2 billion as they've advanced their SK Creek deposit, which is just to the north of us. So I think we're in the third inning of that journey. We started at 20, we're currently at 400, but if the silver price stays here, I think we're in the third inning of that journey. But I think Jeff is ready for the next speaker. So thank you for having me. Thank you for your attendance. And I'll be at our booth